This is not a message for everyone. This is a transmission for the starseeds, for those of you who know or suspect that you are something different, something unusual, not of this place. These are the messages for you that I, as the host of the MaxAnte, are bringing to you. Don't expect anything here to make a lot of sense. Everything is entirely paradoxical and is for you to interpret and for you to discern what is true.
7 steps to be in the world. It could also be called 7 ways to relate to being in the world. This is a very powerful sequence that has been shared with me, and that's why I'm bringing it to you now. I didn't realize I was actually even living these steps for basically all of my adult life, maybe even all of my life. And I would say that this is the very foundation. This is the foundation for being alive, for being a human being, for being here in this world. So this is a very grandiose statement, and I understand that, to say that this is basically the key. These 7 steps. And even beyond that, I would assert that over 90% of people in the world have not even touched these 7 steps. Over 90%. So very few people that I have encountered have really touched these 7 steps. Actually, many are working with the first one, and there are obviously people who have integrated this first step that I'm about to share with you. And these 7 steps of being in the world are going to be such a powerful compass for you to orientate, and you don't even have to go through all 7. It's the first 3 that are the most critical to being here. Anything beyond that is a bonus, and most people will definitely not even be interested in progressing. But I would say that pretty much everybody would like to be involved to some degree, at least in the first 3 steps here. Now, for me personally, the very first step I worked on for about 23 years as an adult, actively, intentionally working. And these steps are a sequence, so you can't skip them. And so they're like a pathway. It's like a direct route that you follow step by step. And like I said, obviously I didn't know this when I was 20 years old and I was beginning on this journey of awakening, of integrating, of being here, being embodied in this world. And so, however, unbeknownst to me, there were these 7 steps, and that I was going to work actively on the first one. It would take me 23 years. I'm not saying it's going to take you 23 years to do this first one. It definitely doesn't have to take that long. In fact, I've been actively involved in this whole process since I was 20 years old. So that's quite a long time. And the second step took 3 years. So as you can see, this is, but basically after that, everything really accelerates. So what are they? What are these 7 steps? What is the first one? So these are very practical, and this is going to be the foundation, the benchmark, the litmus test for your life and how to be here. The first one is integrating in your body, being grounded, being fully here in your body, in the world. So this encompasses a lot, this first step. Like basically you could actually, just like I did, you could just spend like literally 20 plus years dedicating yourself, or less than that obviously. I recommend that if you can fully master. Basically you want to have mastery in each of these 7 steps. It's about mastery, and the first one is a big one, because when I say integrating and being embodied, being in your body, what I'm really meaning is that you have mastery over the totality of your full interaction in the world. Because what is the body? The body is your vehicle. It's your spaceship. It's your way of moving and interacting and being here. It's how you relate to all of physicality and all of social interactions. It is the way that you, how much power you have, how much strength that you have, how much force that you have, how much confidence that you have. All of the positive, life-giving emotions and experiences and feelings are grounded 100% in the body, and you're not going to get anywhere. That's why this is the first step. You need to fully integrate in your body, and that doesn't just mean that you start working out at the gym or just go to a few yoga classes. No, like I said, like 20 plus years for me, this is you being emotionally grounded, fully empowered in your body. It's where the world, there is no separation between you and the world. You feel grounded here. You feel confident here in the world. You're not in a bubble. I don't know about you, but I spent like the first 40 years of my entire life in a bubble. Now, that definitely is not the case for everybody. I've met plenty of teenagers who are integrated in their body. Absolutely. And this will come back to some other trainings that we'll talk about in future episodes. It was actually, so what was my process? Well, it began with meditation. So meditation is a great way. And yes, it was Vipassana. And the techniques in Vipassana of being aware of your breath and being aware of your body sensations, not some high convoluted, trippy, off in the cosmos type of meditation with mantras. No. That's not going to get you grounded in your body. I mean, maybe it will. I just don't have experience with that. I don't think so. I think being fully present to your breath, being aware of the breath coming in and the breath going out. This is a great way to start being grounded in your body. And then progressing, sweeping your attention through the sensations of your body. This is another awesome step. And you could actually, just like I did, practice that for decades to gain mastery. I've spent so many tens of thousands of hours meditating, 2 hours a day, non-stop for 30 plus whatever years, or I don't know, like a long time. And on top of that, going on retreat after retreat, 10 days of doing 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours a day, 30 days, 2 months, non-stop of silence, meditating to ground myself in my body, to fully arrive and be here. That's going to be a great way to get into your body. And what are some others? Well, obviously, working out, going to the gym, exercising. This is key. What else? Doing yoga, doing pranayama, doing tai chi, doing qigong. I do all of these things. Every day I've got my little qigong practice, I've got my yoga practice, and I've been doing those for 25 plus years. And so having a grounded physicality process, moving your body, this is a key. Just look around you. Have a look. Do people seem grounded in their bodies? Are they moving their bodies? They say that sitting down is the new smoking, that you need to bounce off your chair every 20 minutes or whatever they're currently saying. I mean, it's a sedentary world now. Pretty much people just sit at their desk, sit on their couch, lie in their bed. Hardly anybody's moving, and is it any wonder that the world is freaking totally disconnected? Because what is your body anyway? Where does your body come from? Is this body, I mean, we're referring to it as your body. It ain't your body. There isn't any you here. We'll talk more about that later on, but basically this is not your body. How do we know it's not your body? Because you can't keep it. Just get real. You have access to this human form for roughly, at the moment, maybe it'll be longer, but roughly about 100 years, if you do a good job. I mean, really, I don't know if we're going to get that long with the current state of affairs here, but you have this vehicle for, let's say, 100 years. If, as you progress through the 7 steps that I'm going to outline here for you, you might even get even longer than that, but that's getting pretty out there. But let's just, I'm sure you'd be pretty happy with wow, 100 years. I mean, but then I've met plenty of people who don't even want 100 years. And I'm not talking about being 100, like a shriveled up little prune. No. If you actively work out, integrate, get into your body, there is no reason why you couldn't be fully active, like some of my friends who were in their mid to late 60s, who were able to do backflips in their yoga, handstands, you name it. They can, have sex for like hours at a time. That's where your goal should be in your 60s and your 70s. For sure. You should be that empowered in your body. Just do some research. Have a look at there are these bodybuilding contests. I'm not telling you to become a bodybuilder, but there are these bodybuilding contests in Japan with 80-plus-year-old guys. And they are ripped and fully empowered and much stronger than basically nearly anybody in their 20s. More fit. All of this stuff, like just break your paradigm and have a look and go, wow, can I really do that? Can I get that into this body? You have been delivered with an incredible opportunity here in this world that they call Earth. And you've got this vehicle to move and interact in this world. And you can become as powerful as you want. And that side I was just talking about was all just the physicality, which is essential. You want to become fully empowered physically, because guess what? You can't avoid being physical. This is a physical reality. You can't even escape it. I don't care whether you say this is a simulation or some cosmic trip or a big dream that's being lived by some turtle. I don't care what it is. You can't, because guess what? Every day you keep showing up in this body that you refer to as your body. And that's cool. Because these 7 steps are going to take you all the way through that process. And so what else about this physicality, or this being in the body? Well, where does this body move? It moves in the world, and the world is alive. So to fully ground yourself is to realize that you are part of the living force. Not only part of the living force of the world, the biological world, that's where you came from. There is no delineation. There is no separation between you and the trees and the birds and the squirrels and you name it, and the tomatoes and the avocados and the apples and the bananas and everything here. It's all biological, and you need the air that is a biological process. You need the water that is a biological process. And so what is your body? Your body is the world. What is the world? The world is your body. If you start relating to that you are separate from the world, you've already lost this part of the game. This first step is about being grounded in the world, in your body, and being in the human realm. So there's multiple things going on here that you can't even avoid, and there's a whole lot of other way out there stuff going on beyond what you can see. But everybody can see and feel that they are in a body, number one, in the world, number two, and in the human realm, the human society, number three. And you need to be grounded. This first step of being in your body is being in the world and in the human society. Now, obviously, there are problems with all three, because people have become sick. Their bodies are sick. They are toxic. Why are they toxic? Because the world is toxic. Like, they're the same thing. Your body and the world it's become toxic because of so much pollution. And how about the human society? Well, it's pretty toxic, isn't it? I mean, look at all the relationships and the people, the problems that people are having interacting in their families, in their businesses, different social groups, financially, all of these things, all of these elements about your relationships with other people, with yourself, with groups, with finances. You can't avoid this stuff because it's the human society. Unless you divorce yourself 100% from the human society. Now, can you do that? I'd say 99.9999999% of people cannot do that at all. So let's park that. Let's say that basically you and everybody has to be integrated into the human society. You might not like it. You might find the human society annoying, difficult, all of these problems that you want to just reject it. But guess what? You don't reject it, because every day you show up. Every day you go and probably see some people. You probably maybe go to work, run a business. I don't know. Be there for your spouse, your kids, whatever. Even if you don't like any of them, you still keep showing up. Even if you try to run away and leave all of them, well, you probably have to go and find a new batch of them. So this thing of being grounded in your body, in the world, and in the human society, this is the first of the 7 steps. Now, remember I said at the beginning that over 90% of the humanity doesn't even have mastery over these 7 steps. So if that's the first one, what the hell? What's the next 6? Because that first one, it has taken me decades to have mastery, to understand my body, to study, because you want to even study if you can. Study the body. Study this incredible biological system that they are trying to transform. I mean, the machine world also wants to, rob you. Remember what you're up against. Don't kid yourself. You are up against a systematic approach to disempower and estrange you from all these 3. There is a war going on here against your body, against the biological world, and against the human society. To break it down, a very deliberate, systematic approach to have you become sick and disconnected from your body, to have the world become toxic and you become disconnected from nature. And so you aren't even nature yourself. You have to even think about it. Am I nature or what? I mean, just that's how fucked up this whole system is. And then thirdly, an attack on the human society, a breakdown in relationships and splintering of groups. So no wonder people can't even get beyond first base. This is first base. And do you have mastery over this? Do you have mastery over that totality? Over your finances? Over all of your human interactions? Over how to communicate effectively with people? Over how to be in nature without being afraid? How to actually just go and be in the forest? How to take yourself and go and be in silence in the natural world, realizing that actually is you. You need to have mastery over being with all the people. How can you be in a crowded room and not freak out? Can you speak on a stage and declare yourself and be authentic and honest and talk to large groups? Can you fully express yourself and feel alive here in the human realm? So you want to be able to be silent and in nature and fully integrated with all the other humans and fully empowered in your body. This is the first step. It's all just one thing. That's just one thing. And yes, we've broken it down into dozens of them. But yes, and obviously there is a lot of trainings out there, a lot of books, and a lot of attention is being placed on helping people integrate in their body, in the world, in society. Because you can't avoid it. I mean, the people who do avoid it, they kill themselves. That's it. They check out. They don't want to integrate. They are like, I'm over this. I'm sick of this. I'm out. So the only way they can do it is to check out of the body, to check out of the vehicle, because that is the access point to integrating in the world. The world, the body, human society, all the same thing. All one big system. The whole thing. And so you haven't checked out because you're listening to this, clearly, and so you're alive. And because you're alive, you have access to all of that. Because you're alive, you have access to a body that you can completely transform. You can completely, I don't care if you're overweight, whatever situation you're in. I mean, obviously, some people are really sick and they're having a really tough time. And that is very unfortunate. And maybe they are even bedridden. I have had first-hand experience of that, witnessing my mother, decaying in front of me and dying an early death. And so I know what that's like. And sure as hell, she was completely disconnected from her body. And it took her all the way over the edge into death. Absolutely. I tried to help her, rescue her, save her for decades. And, I kept her alive for about maybe an extra dozen years, about 10, 15 extra years. I believe I was able to get her through nutrition, because that's a key part here as well. You need to understand that the world is toxic. Your body is toxic. Everything around you. People are toxic. So people are toxic. Your body is toxic. The world is toxic. Yes, there is lots of toxicity. So basically you just need to detox non-stop, every day, all the time, from here on in. Your life is a detox process from now. You need to detox your body constantly. You need to help detox the world. Yeah, make it part of your mission to help transform this world and detox it. And you need to detox your relationships. Is there any toxicity? Just get rid of it. Anything that isn't working, any single thing that is disempowering you in any of these areas needs to be gone. Become ruthless in this part, because this is your life. It's all paradoxical. No you, but it's your life. And so there's no way of avoiding it unless you commit suicide. And we don't want to do that, do we? Because guess what? This is a gift. This is not even your body. So if it's not your body, what transgression is it to dispense with it? Now, that's a whole other topic, and we'll talk about that in further episodes. Because if people who are really wanting to get away from the situation, If you're like that, if you're wanting to get away, you've missed the point. That's not what this is. You need to understand what this is. This being alive, this life force. People who have the idea that they want to get away from it are disconnected from their very nature, from the world. They don't understand what they are. They don't understand what the world is. They don't understand what the human society potential is. So you have to start somewhere. You have to go, okay, well, that's a lot to take in. What am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Because it all starts with integrating in your body. Get real that you are alive, and the very first point of call is your breath. Because this body that you are taking care of, because yes, it is a gift from the earth. Gaia has given you this body for a reason. You are breathing. That's the first step. The breath of life. You can't even probably get by beyond 3 or 5 minutes. And that's a whole other thing. I mean, like learning to be with the breath. I mean, if you haven't looked up someone like Wim Hof, he's got some great methods for breathing. He reckons you can transform your whole health, every single aspect of your health, just by breathing. You can get rid of depression. You can get rid of anxiety. You can transform your whole psyche, all your emotional state, just through breathing. No meds, not even food, nothing else, just breathing. So like I said, there's a lot of things here that you can unpack and explore. And so you've definitely got access to your breath. So just sitting down right now and meditating, just taking 5 minutes. If you are finding life stressful, if you have a thought like, oh my God, tomorrow is not going to be the best day ever, and so's the next day after that, what are you doing? This is your life. And right now you've got your breath. And you have this opportunity to breathe and fill your lungs. And if the air you're breathing is toxic, like it is for a lot of people at this time in the world, then you probably need to get somewhere else. Make it a priority. The air you breathe is a massive priority. Get yourself somewhere where the air is clean. Get yourself somewhere where the water is clean. These are fundamental things. Move into a place. If you're living somewhere that's negative, where you don't enjoy, go somewhere else. Because you have this body, this vehicle, this spaceship that you're in, it needs to be somewhere that is life-giving. And you want to start connecting with it like this is your number one priority. Because it is. Remember, I've said there are 7 steps. This is the number one priority. This whole thing here we're talking about. And so you want to ground yourself step by step. Now, don't get all overwhelmed and flustered. This is a process. Remember I said to you, me, 25 plus years, every day, actively, drop by drop. You're not going to have mastery over this tomorrow, next week, next month. No way. Just become easy with yourself. Just give yourself, because that's the key here as well. Relaxing, having good sleep, being kind to yourself, being kind to your body. All of this is part of it. That's why this is about mastery. It's about you coming back to yourself and being kind. Make a list of everything that will help you in this area and systematically move in that direction. Get the help that you need. Start turning to the other humans. You're in a human world, and people have mastery in these areas. And you can turn to people and ask for help. You can actually speak. That's part of being in the human realm. You have language now. You can ask people, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, why don't we become buddies? Why don't we start working out together? Why don't we start training ourselves to be kind with each other? And if you're in relationships that are contradicting any of this, well, have a good look at them, because this is your priority, and no one is going to show up and save you. This is it. It's up to you, kiddo. No one is going to show up and help you. No one's going to knock on your door, because guess what? Everybody else is freaking confused. Everybody else is disconnected. They're not in their body. They don't know how to communicate. They're disconnected from nature. Do they go and hug trees? Do they go and lie on the grass and look up at the sky and say a big thank you for being here and taking a deep breath? Who does that? Every day? Every day doing that sort of thing? I don't think so. What's your spouse like? Do you have a partner? How kind are they to you? Do you have kids? Like all of this stuff. Do you have a boss? Do you go to work? Do you have classmates? Do you have work colleagues? Do they treat you with respect? Respect. This is the number one thing in the human society. You got to have respect for each other. If you don't have respect, anybody that's not treating you with respect, delete. Gone. Right now. Just why would you put up with that? Are you treating anybody with disrespect? Get on the phone and apologize. Really? Like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. Can you apologize? What is your addiction to being right? So, as you can see, there's a lot here to unpack. Are you trained in meditation, in becoming still and silent? If not, go to some meditation retreats. Are you trained in moving your body and becoming flexible? If not, go to some yoga classes. Are you trained in strength and endurance? If not, go to the gym. Are you trained in human communication? If not, go to some communication classes. I did more than a decade with the Landmark organization. Now, as we've spoken before, there's a lot of problems with organizations. Absolutely. Are most of them cults? Are all of them cults? Yes, for sure. But you can still participate. You participate with the groups, understanding their agenda. Their organizational agenda is to grow and expand and use you as a tool for their organizational growth. No problem. You participate with them, but you understand that. You understand where they're coming from, and you make use of their platform and their tools, but you don't buy into their agenda. Why would you want to buy into their agenda? I mean, they've got all these great tools, and just dive in and soak it up until you become fully empowered in your way of being in this world. Because while nobody else is going to show up and knock on the door and tell you to do this, people are available to help you, especially because they all want money. They all want the points. They can't wait. They just want to fill their pockets with these imaginary points that they want to get so they can become somebody in the world. I mean, remember, all of this stuff is paradoxical. So because everybody wants the points, because everybody wants the money, you're going to need to get some money here. Absolutely. You can't avoid this. You can't avoid money because everybody else wants it. And if you want their help for you to get expertise, to get mastery in all of these domains of being in the world, then you're also going to need to get mastery in finances. How can you avoid this? I mean, maybe you can join some, hippie commune and get away from it all. For sure. I haven't done that, and they do exist. So look them up. There are cults out there that you can literally join, probably, and just maybe you wear some special robes and whatever else, and you get to maybe live a life without even having to worry about finances. I don't know. I mean, if that is the case, there's not very many of them around, but, for whatever floats your boat. But understand that for the majority of the time, and I would say pretty much nearly all of the time, you're going to need your finances in order. And, obviously, your health, and so forth. So, yes, step number 1. There is a lot to this. You need to be grounded in your body, and that is your number 1 priority. And so, the other 6 steps, we're going to go through them in the next episode.